America was not simply a plantation. It was a brothel. And the madams were white women. Let's cut through the historical cosplay. White women weren't delicate pawns on the chessboard of slavery. They were economic operatives, slavers in silk, human traffickers disguised as genteel wives. The entire fantasy of their innocence collapses under a single documented truth. They were her property. Dr. Stephanie E. Jones Rogers didn't just write a book. She exhumed a crime scene. What she found? White women didn't just benefit from slavery. They were agents of it. Fully. Financially. Psychologically. They bought, sold, and inherited black people. Brutalized them. Including and especially black women. With the surgical precision of Wall Street investors. Not helpmeets, not passive recipients. They were the primary slavers in many transactions. They inherited enslaved people as dowries. They used them as collateral for loans. They leveraged the bodies of black girls to buy land, purchase goods, and secure power. These women learned from girlhood that their survival was bound not to virtue, but to domination. And domination had a name. Slavery. This isn't just about gender. This is about whiteness as economic infrastructure. Patriarchy didn't cancel out their power. It delegated it through motherhood, inheritance, and domestic management. White women were trained to be plantation CFOs. They weren't crying because slavery was cruel. They were crying when emancipation threatened their portfolio. Even after the Confederacy crumbled, they filed claims with the federal government, demanding restitution for the humans they could no longer legally own. These weren't broken windows. They were angry investors seeking return on lost assets. And this is where the white feminist project cracks. When the discourse skips over the plantation wife, it doesn't just erase her. It recycles her. Every time whiteness centers white women as universal victims, it reenacts the same historical cover-up, turning slavers into sisters, turning traffickers into tea drinkers, turning a racial economy into a gendered anecdote. Ask yourself, when your favorite feminist says we, who is she talking about? Not the black women bred against their will, not the indigenous girls sterilized by settler medicine, not the global south whose labor props up today's feminist brunches. No, she's talking about whiteness wrapped in virtue signaling. The plantation mistress is not a relic. She's a prototype, a model of domination disguised as domesticity. She doesn't need a whip. She has the law. She has inheritance. She has narrative control. So remember this, white women were not bystanders. They were auctioneers. They were breeders. They were profiteers. And when we say we remember what they erased, we mean this. We mean her. We remember her name not to mourn her, but to indict her, because she wasn't their sister. She was their prophet. Cope.